Hold me like the homies in the shy when they hold their gun. Hold me like a trophy in the sky when they know they won. Uh, what's up, everybody? How's we doing? This is Adam Pecorier, and you have tuned into Requiem for a Tuesday. Thank you for listening. We're back, baby. The bye week is over. The big game has been played. As has. That's crazy. As has my wallet. My gambling has not been going well, to say the least. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Requiem for a Tuesday. Trying to work my way to ad revenue so I can gamble it all away. So let's get these numbers up. Please share, leave comments, do the whole thing that you do like it's a real thing. That would be great. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, if you're interested, we got it all. There's music, multiplex, Wolfx. Click the link in the description below. We'll take you everywhere you need to go. There's merch, rfat.bigcartel.com, Instagram, adam.rfat. It's all there. And, take a look-see. Take a peek around. Quite a bit of things. I'm banged up, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, I feel like I got into a car accident yesterday. I mean, my ankles are sore. My knees are weak. Palms are sweaty. There's vomit. Yeah, you get it. But no, it's been a rough day. The heartburn is bad. I can't lay on my back, but my neck kind of hurts, so it hurts to lay on my side. Definitely can't lay on my stomach. Headache, not bad, though. We're good. I skipped the coffee because that usually it goes right into my ankles. I don't know how to explain it. I just feel my ankle joints so much more when I'm hungover. It's just the worst. And then, I don't know. Maybe I'm on the verge of getting my feet amputated and I'm unaware. But yeah, it's been tough. I've been mostly still and quiet until right now, and we're gonna see how it goes. But I'm here for the people. We're back. Is what I was trying to get to. Should be back to normal weekly schedule now that the new year is over and the Super Bowl has happened. We should be all good to go. I don't know. Honestly, last week I'd just gotten back from traveling. Not really. That's not even true. I got back on the Saturday. I had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to record. What happened in actuality was I popped an edible on the way home on Monday, and I was like, all right, we're going to do the travel pod on edibles. And it just kicked in way before I got home, and by the time I got there, there was no way I just wasn't going to do it. I think I stared at my phone for a half an hour when I got home, and I had it with me the whole time. I was just walking. So I just completely zoned out, and we missed the opportunity there. But it was also then we would have done 3 in a row with the Nashville to Boston. I wanted to break it up a wee bit. Just a tad. But I have many complaints on the way about that shithole. Don't you worry. My review will not be kind or sparing. I'm going to let it all hang out. I'll give them credit. Big Sig City over there. Not a lot of vapes going on. SIGs everywhere. That's a blue-collar town. That's what I like to see. They're not. They're living in the past. They love history there. You know what I mean? They fought for that tobacco, or whatever. They killed natives for that tobacco. It was, I don't. Who cares? I'm not one of those. You know. Why dwell on it? Here we are, the Super Bowl, Las Vegas, Nevada. I still have yet to return as an adult, so I technically have never been there. That's how I like to put it. Seems like an ideal place for this event. If any place made sense to have the Super Bowl in, I mean, they'd had the draft there a bunch of times, which, you know, whatever. There's less gambling involved in the draft dramatically, obviously. You know, they have all the hotels. They have the infrastructure. What can I say? It just makes sense. The spectacle, doing it big, you know, like it's everything Las Vegas stands for. So good for them. It seemed to go pretty well. The game kind of what am I going to say that's much different here? You know, you got all these people making $100 million a year talking about this game today. All that I have to say is that thing was a fucking slog until the fourth quarter, basically. It was horrible. Honestly, I was supremely disappointed. And basically just because they were perfectly evenly matched. You know, that was all that I was saying. I had no idea who was going to win. I mean, it was just a complete toss-up, and it finally truly was. They were just matched at every position well. So nobody could do anything well. The defenses both shined. Well, actually, the Niners were moving it on their fucking ass on that first drive, and that McCaffrey fumble was huge because obviously points were a premium. So, you know, the Chiefs didn't score there, but you were at least in field goal range. Look, I understand both teams turned it over and in the same parts of the field, so all that stuff kind of evened out. I mean, really, the muff punt, we didn't even see what happened. It goes off the guy's leg. You realize on replay, and that's it. I mean, they score on the next play. All of a sudden, they have the lead. It felt like they shouldn't have even been, you know, same thing that we've been saying about them. They shouldn't be in the games. The defense just really is that good. There's just some weird facade over the Chiefs that makes it seem like, we just can't call their defense elite. But, I mean, I remember saying after, like, week 1 or 3 or something, I'm like, oh, so the Chiefs just have the best defense in the NFL now. And then they lost a few games in a row, and we kind of stopped talking about how good their defense was. But it never stopped. They just weren't good for a few weeks. Their offense has been their weak spot all year. Mahomes is just so good. Like, they really are just like the Patriots, like the early Patriot team, but with... It's like if the 2014 Tom Brady were on the original 2001 Patriots. Like, that's what Mahomes and the Chiefs are. Because that offense is bad. They suck. Like, everyone but him kind of sucks. Isaiah Pacheco's not very good. You know, I got sucked into what everybody was saying about how, oh, he's going to go off. Why would he go off? He's not good. Like... Yes, he runs hard, and that works a lot in the regular season. That doesn't work in the Super Bowl against a great defense that's ready for him. You know, like Christian McCaffrey got shut down. That's the level we're at here. So, yeah, and I mean, Kelsey's on the decline. He had a great game again, though. I mean, he had like 9 for 100, basically. But that's it. Rashee Rice is going to get there for sure. The kid's a rookie, though. You know, you can't really rely on him. And he was kind of shut down most of the game till the end. And it was just weird vibes, too, from the Chiefs. Like, they kept cutting to the sidelines, and people would be, like, really pissed off or, like, blowing up at somebody. Not just the Kelsey, Andy Reid thing, which was, you know, cringy, but... Chill, everybody, I guess. I think it's weird that Andy Reid, like, didn't hear him or acknowledge him. Like, he was clearly caught off guard, but he was already screaming. So that's what was weird, was just how zoned out he was able to be. It's very impressive. But no, it just seemed like whenever they were cutting to the sideline, some player was pissed off or heated at somebody, or coaches were yelling. I don't know. It felt like weird vibes. And the Niners just kind of seemed like pretty chill, calm, ready to go. And Brock Purdy didn't do anything special. And that's the reason they lost, though. But he was good. But what can you do? Kittle was a complete non-factor. Like, they just didn't really get the ball in anybody's hands, except it just felt like Christian McCaffrey had the ball the whole game. Ayuk only had 3 catches. I think Debo only had 3 catches, and both of them had like 30 yards. And then Kittle had 4 yards or something. I just don't know how that was your game plan, to not get all your best players the ball. Again, you know, Chiefs D is for real. You know, I'm not trying to say that, but to shut out all 3 of your best pass catchers is that's almost impossible. You know, they kind of took away the run game only. I don't know. But the Chiefs D, I mean, they're just that good. You know, everybody wanted to focus on Baltimore because they technically had a better record and all that, but I mean, I just really think that they're not getting enough credit. And even now, it's like, oh, this is the Steve Spagnuolo game, like the coordinator. It's like, yeah, but he's been there and he's been doing this the whole time. Like, the story, I feel like, or narrative of their defense is that it hasn't been very good, like, ever. But this isn't, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, this isn't just, like, a good defense for the Chiefs during the Mahomes run. It's like, this is like an elite defense, which is what nobody is saying. They're great. They shut down everybody. I mean, what are we even talking about? I don't care what the numbers might have even been in the regular season. Like, they're fucking incredible. But yeah, I mean, it was a dud, a fucking punt fest, back and forth, the whole thing. And yeah, I thought the game was going to end if overtime ran out of time. That's silly to me that it would keep going. I also think they took it too far with this rule. The whole 2 possession thing, like, it's overtime. You had the whole game, has always been my stance. I love the touchdown to win it, field goal, they get another possession, because, you know, my entire life it would just be, oh, the game's going to overtime. Whoever wins the coin toss wins if they can get 40 yards. Which, you know, isn't a walk in the park, but, you know, it felt like 75% of the time they would go right down and just kick a field goal and not even try. And then it's like, well, that's anticlimactic. So, yeah, I mean, I don't like to have the ball twice. Either way, the Niners only kicked a field goal, so it's a moot point. And the Chiefs scored within time. So, no matter what, none of the scenarios that would have bothered me happened. And yeah, it was inevitable. Like, you knew right after the field goal, it was like, well, they're just going to go win. And it's amazing that he can do it with that cast. And I mean, like, they're not good. Like, truly. That team shouldn't be able to win the Super Bowl. Again, without the help of a huge defense and Mahomes just being truly that great. But you know what I mean? Like, that unit as an offense, like, Tom Brady probably isn't taking that team to the Super Bowl, even with that defense. I don't think. But he's just in such control and command, and he really is down to a level of, like, I play the clock to, like, other level. Like, I'm not trying to be a scoring machine. I'm trying to control a game, which was always a Brady thing too. And it's like, well, why aren't they blowing anybody out anymore? It's like they just want the ball last because then they just win, and it makes sense. But it's a weird adjustment for me mentally, as I'm sure it is for other people, when it's like, this guy was doing like trick passes and 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. And like even last year they had like a crazy amount of yardage and output, and that's because they had Juju Smith-Schuster, which says a lot about him and how good he is in comparison to the guys that they have. But he ended up doing nothing on the Patriots because they're terrible. But he couldn't elevate anything on that team, but he elevated the Chiefs that much. It's kind of nuts. I'm not trying to give him like all the credit for how good their offense was last year, but I'm just saying like you upgrade the receivers on the Chiefs, and that's how much better his numbers get like immediately. And I don't know. I guess all I'm saying is the weirdest thing is that it's like Brock Purdy is called the game manager, but he slings that fucking ball a lot of the time, and Patrick Mahomes like literally is doing everything he can to manage the game appropriately. And guys are always like, oh, that's not a derogatory term. It's like, yeah, well, if you're taking the words literally, yes. But if you're calling someone a game manager, that is a derogatory thing. Or a system QB. Again, like it is a diss. Because then there's everybody loves to be that guy on the show who's like, well, every QB is a system QB. It's like, yes, correct. But that's why you're missing the point. It's just that it's a diss. It's just the easy way to say that the guy isn't actually that good, without directly saying that. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, basically the first 3 quarters were just a big blur. I mean, obviously I was drinking heavy. Your boy's banged up, as I mentioned. But I don't know. It just kind of seemed like all of a sudden now it's 20 points each. How did we get here? Thank God, because it was a snoozer. But it just felt like I was watching commercials all night, really, which was true. I mean, everything was like 3 to 5 plays per drive, no yards, punt, 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 punt. Both punters actually ended up with the exact same stat line, which is interesting. I don't know what it is because I didn't pull it up. It sounded like I was going to queue up some data right there, and then I just had no data at all. I'm pulling it up now. I'm going to make you wait for it. I'm going to drag this out unnecessarily for no reason. Punters don't get no love, Super Bowl MVP, the punter who caused the muff, Tommy Townsend. I mean, he really sparked the whole thing. Anyway, both guys were 5 punts for 254. Isn't that weird? Like, same amount of punts makes sense. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, that was really the crucial play. The blocked extra point all of a sudden, and it's just like, that's a championship play. That's how you win a fucking game. You make some tiny little thing like that, and it's the Super Bowl, so it's scrutinized forever, whereas like in the regular season it bothers you for a couple days, and then it either adds to fuel to the fire for more problems to happen the next week, or all of a sudden you rally past it and it's whatever, and then come playoff seeding time, you go, fuck, remember that game when we just couldn't have had that blocked extra point? But this is literally like, if that extra point goes in, it could dramatically change the outcome of the Super Bowl. Kind of just alarming how they were never ready for those third down blitzes, the 49ers. Like, everyone worked. I understand that they're disguised in different ways each time. But like, where's your hot guy? I just don't know. Isn't that how that's supposed to work? You just chuck it, which I thought was the Shanahan thing anyway. Throw it to a spot, the guy will be there. I thought that's Shanahan's whole thing. I don't know. It just seemed like, especially with that timing right after the 2-minute warning, it's like, why not run the ball? The Chiefs maybe call a timeout. Great, then you got them to burn a timeout at least. Like, run a draw. QB even maybe. I don't know. I didn't like that play call. An RPO would have been perfect right there because the blitz comes and he just chucks it over the top. I don't know. You can't do anything about it now, I suppose, but Kyle Shanahan, just a big loser. I'm also not a fan of the double-digit lead thing when it's 10. I mean, it's like, okay, so you had a quarter to score 2 touchdowns. Like, nobody's ever... You know what I mean? It's like, you think nobody's ever scored twice in one quarter? It's just not that crazy, you know? Because I remember that Chiefs game when it was like I think it was Mahomes' first year as the starter when he won MVP. And they were playing the Texans, and the Texans went up 14, and they were smiling, and they were like, we got this. And they were like whooping their ass, but for like a quarter. And then the Chiefs just scored like 4 touchdowns in like 5 minutes. And they ended up winning by 40 or something. And it was just, it's like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? When it's like you see 28 points in one column of a box score, that is another level. But 10, I mean, yeah, they scored 10 in 15 minutes. You know, especially if there's a turnover. It's like, yeah, what did you think? That's how this works. No, I get it. It's like technically those comebacks still just don't happen. Unless you're playing the Chicago Bears, in which case, what was there, 4? Like, the Bears technically should have made the playoffs. Anyway, like there's any chance. You know what I mean? But still. Usher was good. The roller skates really took it to the next level. He was astonishingly sweaty. But congrats. The Alicia Keys thing felt sexual. So, my condolences to their respective spouses. Swiss Beats, do your thing, bro. You got this. Usher's wife, same to you. But yeah, it was a little dull at first. The transitions weren't great. But then, you know, once Lil Jon was there and Ludacris was there, it was like I was waiting for Ludacris the whole time. And it was worth it. It was great. You know, no complaints on that one. People love to hyper critique the Super Bowl halftime show. Doesn't make any sense to me. Normally at halftime of a football game, there is nothing. Or they'll have like a cheerleading team come out. The NFL, the most profitable by far sports league in America, they put on nothing for the halftime. I mean, they know it's because everything clears out. And there's no reason to really do it. Because, you know, even in the NBA, they're doing it for like the 2,000 fans that didn't get up. I get it. But you would just think with all the money behind it, they would get decent shit. I don't know. That's just me. But no, it's just like a Thanksgiving and Super Bowl thing. And Thanksgiving, I mean, there's no money in it. They just put a stage up. But I don't know. Are people going to be downloading the new Usher album? I am not. Personally. But I hope it boosts his numbers. Good for you, Usher. It was great effort, bud. This is my boy Usher. You may know him. Yeah, if I'm George Kittle, I'm upset. I mean, he was holding it down, blocking. I get it. Like, there was a reason. But if I'm George Kittle, Debo gets hurt, Dre Greenlaw gets hurt. Just tragic. I mean, they just have really terrible luck, the 49ers, with their health and stuff. And that's kind of what I've said about them before is like, well, if the guys can't stay healthy, that means it's not the right team, though. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just keep trying to hope these guys can make it through a season, and they never can. So maybe that means they're not the right guys, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Now the Greenlaw thing was like a freak accident, don't get me wrong. But you know what, like Debo, it's like if the guy can't be on the field in the Super Bowl, like maybe you should just not play him in the regular season then. Like win without him. I don't know what to tell you. I was surprised he didn't have more carries in the game. It just seemed like the 49ers didn't make any adjustments to anything. And everything worked just well enough that it kept them alive the whole time, but they didn't adapt to anything the Chiefs did on offense or defense, or at least not enough to where, they were in the right position. And I mean, again, like, it's really that punt. If that doesn't happen, who knows? But it just feels like no matter what, Mahomes is going to go down the field when he knows he really has to. So it's just tricky. I don't know. There's not that much to criticize for San Francisco, weirdly. It's just like, yeah, you guys got fucked. You guys got fucked on TV. We all watched, and you took it. There's nothing else. It's how it had to go down. I'm sorry. You got dogged. It's brutal, but so be it. Now the season's over, and I'm sad, and I lost. I placed like 30-something bets. I didn't hit any of them. I had the under for points, or I had the over before they changed it to 46.5. I had it at 47.5. Obviously, it landed at 47. I had a bunch of things tied with that, so I lost everything there. I don't even know what I actually won. I just had a ton of like stat props, and none of them hit, like, at all. So, oh shit, excuse me. So I lost half of my money now instead of 2/3 of my money. A win was regraded because lost fumble in both halves. That did happen because of the punt. Okay, see, I was confused as to why I lost that. All right, so that's great. So I won that one. Oh, man, all these losses. I won Brock Purdy over 11.5 and Mahomes over 26.5 rushing yards. That one was easy, I guess. The Purdy one just barely made it. Wow, I lost all of these. It's unbelievable how much I lost. And then, will there be a score in the last 2 minutes of each half? Yes. That's all I won. Was the 2 rushing ones, a score in the last 2 minutes of each half, and now a fumble in each half. So that's all I won. Every single thing that had to do with statistics or knowledge of football in any way, lost. The rushing one was a no-brainer, I thought. That was the easiest bet I could have made. I thought that was a lock. And then, yeah, the other 2 were just complete guesses that won me barely any money. So that's interesting. It was rough. So now we are on to the draft, and I will just be eyeballing the news every single day about the Bears and seeing what may unfold and all the rumors, and I'm going to get sucked into all of it all over again, and I'll be talking about it constantly. I'm not that sad that the season is over for the first time because of that reason. I'm like locked into the off season. I can't wait to see how this unfolds. It's going to be a long 2 months having to wait for that to happen, over 2 months, really. But I'm thrilled for it because, the Chiefs won again. That's boring to me, and they should be the favorite again next year because they're only going to get better now. I'm guessing they're going to draft a receiver in the first round or second. Wouldn't surprise me. But I'm all in. We're in a rebuild right now, so I'm already like looking forward to next season. This is not a sad time because I'm focused. Like, we're in it all year. This is a 365 operation. So we're gonna take our Disney World trip and then we're back to work, baby. Like, off-season workouts are happening already. Let's go. Meet me in Miami. It'll be fucking September before we know it. All right. Rate, review, and subscribe to this show. Short one this week. I'll be back next week with hopefully a very elaborate topic or my negative Boston review. So we'll see. Maybe both. Maybe neither. You never know with me. So check out all the links in the description below. Rate, review, subscribe. Thanks for listening. And remember, I are fat, you are fat, we are fat. Calculator.